This footage is from a YouTuber known as No Biggie TV, who decided to challenge fate by testing out Ouija boards in his room. Initially skeptical, he remarks that Ouija boards can't be that frightening if they're sold at Toys R Us. While waiting in line to purchase one, a woman asks if he knows the origin of the Ouija boards. She claims that the creator sold his soul to the devil and that making the boards available to children is part of a sinister conspiracy. Dismissing her warning, No Biggie TV buys the board anyway and heads to his friend Dave's apartment. After a brief look at the instructions, they begin their session and quickly make contact with a spirit named Josh, who reveals he was born in 1921. The atmosphere grows tense, and No Biggie TV pranks his friend by pretending to be possessed. But once they resume, they hear strange noises.
Besides the kitchen and the dog.
The thumping?
No, I hear some kind of breathing.
Including breathing and thumping. Josh warns them that the house is unsafe after using the Ouija board, but suggests a solution. Burn me, he writes. Determined to avoid a haunted house, they follow his instructions. They take the board outside and set it ablaze, the box and all. And as the fire burns, Dave's car mysteriously turns on by itself. Even after extinguishing the flames, they still hear the board sizzling. And No Biggie TV receives an electric shock when he touches it. Unable to fully burn the board, they decide to drive far away and dispose of it instead, although they do say goodbye to the board. The video doesn't show them properly ending the session, so it remains uncertain how Josh will react to their failure to follow the exact instructions. Late one night, 4 girls are about to witness the power of the Ouija board firsthand. The video begins just as they are receiving an answer to their final question, and they are now ready to end the session. They start to move the cup in a circle 3 times to clear the board, but whatever they have summoned is not exactly ready to leave, not quite yet. Just before the girls can cast the spirit back into its own dimension, it desperately leaps inside one of them and takes control. Then the possession ends as quickly as it began. They all rush in, and one of the girls cradles her friends in her arms as she cries and trembles. And they ask if she needs any water. Even though I'm not sure exactly what happened here, I think it's safe to say that a glass of water probably isn't going to be enough to help her. If traditional Ouija boards can summon spirits, it's logical to think that a digital version might have the same effect. This theory was put to the test by an 18-year-old girl from Lima, Peru, who used the Ouija board app on her smartphone. Patricia Quispe, along with her friends, began using the app to ask a few questions. Shortly afterward, it seems she conjured a spirit that followed her home. Her parents soon noticed a drastic change in her behavior as well. She began throwing violent fits and even foaming at the mouth.
Una aparente posesión satánica luego de jugar a la Ouija.
Patricia's voice transformed as well, becoming deep and menacing. While restrained, she frequently repeated disturbing phrases, notably the number 6, 3 times consecutively at that. She also demanded her phone back from the doctors, possibly to return to the Ouija app and invoke more spirits. Patricia was eventually admitted to a psychiatric hospital for further evaluation. Whether she returned to normal or remained possessed by the spirit, that shit remains unknown. With the latest incident occurring in the city of Jaén, 16-year-old Blanca Jovana and her friends began using a Ouija board for amusement, unaware of its potential dangers. Tragically, Bianca's ignorance led her to a dark fate. It remains unclear how often they used the board before a demon finally took hold of her. It could have been a single session, or it could have been multiple attempts over several days that allowed the demon to possess her. The specifics of Blanca's possessions are unknown, but similar cases are often involved taunting the spirit or failing to properly close the session after you're done. What is certain is that her minor possession quickly escalated. She transformed from a carefree teenager to a violent and uncontrollable individual, and this is within days. Her behavior became so extreme that her family, unable to cope, had her committed to a psychiatric facility. There, her frightening and aggressive actions astounded and terrified staff. Her violent outbursts and satanic proclamations even attracted locals and news reporters, all of whom were convinced she had encountered pure evil. The psychiatric ward was overwhelmed and out of options, and they resorted to chaining her down to protect both her and others. The demon remained in her for at least 21 days, and this incident occurred in 2011. While locals might know more, no follow-up reports have emerged from Jane. This lack of information has led to speculation that Blanca might have been exiled or even killed to save the town from further harm. What do you guys think about this? So we have Elsa Perea Flores High School in Peru, and it has a reputation for being extremely haunted. According to local law, the school was built on a site where the mafia once buried their dead. In May 2016, a group of students decided to use a Ouija board to contact one of these buried souls, and what followed was nothing short of terrifying. Shortly after their session, at least 20 students experienced a mass hallucination. They collapsed, convulsed, and vomited uncontrollably.
Porque acá no están bien. Allá al otro lado.
Like, the affected students had to be loaded into trucks and rushed to the hospital for examination. And in the subsequent weeks, nearly 100 more students experienced the same mysterious symptoms. One moment they were fine, and the next they were on the ground in the throes of a seizure. This phenomenon always occurred on school grounds. And disturbingly, students from different classes often passed out at the same time. Many reported being attacked by the same malevolent spirit. A man dressed in black with a bushy beard who sought to harm or sexually assault them. They frequently heard voices and felt a constant, eerie presence stalking them, as if someone might grab them from behind at any moment. One student even reported feeling large hands tighten around her neck. These children, aged 11 to 14, were defenseless. Despite the efforts of school officials who enlisted Catholic priests to perform exorcisms and hold masses, the haunting there still persisted. And according to the latest reports, the sinister force unleashed by the Ouija board continues to torment the students to this day. As seen in this footage from Mexico, it's not just humans who can fall prey to possession by summoned spirits. The video captures 3 friends in a small, cluttered room attempting to contact spirits using a Ouija board. And then out of nowhere, it appears they attract some supernatural attention. While there's no audio, their body language makes it clear that something unusual is happening. They all lean in, eagerly anticipating the board's next response. And the room seems to heat up suddenly, and the man in the center wipes sweat from his forehead. And it's in that moment, a white, stuffed bear above him seems to come to life, its gaze fixed on the trio, particularly on the person to the left. The man on the left eventually notices the bear's movements and points it out to his friends. When they look up, however, the bear is still. A brief argument ensues as the man insists he saw the bear move, while his friends remain skeptical about it. One of them picks up the bear and inspects it, but it remains lifeless. So they return to the Ouija board and start their session over again. This time, as they ask another question, the stuffed bear begins to move openly, its head turning to observe them. And terrified, all three friends leap from their seats and flee the room, so panicked that they even leave the camera behind. A YouTuber named Dale Pendlebury has been struggling with terrible sleep quality and is determined to find out why. Despite ensuring he gets between 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night, he wakes up feeling exhausted, as if he hadn't slept at all. To uncover the mystery, Dale sets up a camcorder to record his nights. He had no idea that he would capture evidence of his own damn possession. The camera is motion and sound activated, saving Dale from sifting through hours of uneventful footage. And upon reviewing the recordings, the first night appears normal, but things start to take a bizarre turn. And by the third night, unseen forces seem to be tossing him around in his bed. The following night, strange noises can be heard, and at one point, Dale sits up and stares directly at the camera with a vacant expression and seemingly open eyes. He then collapses back onto his bed. However, most comments on this video insist that it is genuine, leaving the final judgment up to the viewer. A man and a woman managed to summon a female spirit, while a third person recorded this event. So the spirit spelled out Lisa, revealing her name, Lisa.
Did not push that.
Seriously, none of you guys push that over to the X like that?
No.
Not at all. You guys doing something underneath the table?
Following this, the pointer shot to the letter X on its own. Neither of them seemed to have pushed it there either. It appeared to move entirely by itself. The cameraman inspected under the table for magnets or strings, but found nothing suspicious. The video then cuts, leaving the next question they asked a mystery. Regardless, the pointer circled briefly before landing on yes. Then, it swiftly returned to the mysterious letter X for a second time. If this video is genuine, why did the spirit repeatedly select the letter X? Maybe it could indicate that she was an ex-lover, or perhaps X could symbolize her death. The true intent behind Lisa's message, it remains unclear. After the pointer moved on its own again, the participants understandably retreated from the board. However, it appears they didn't formally close the session, leaving open the possibility that Lisa might return for another visit. Jackson Combs and his friend Stacy, feeling bored, decided to summon some spirits. Their friend Alice joined them, bringing along the top of a pizza box. Now, using this, they crafted a homemade Ouija board. By the time they settled on a location to use it, it was well past 1 in the morning. They used a small cup as a pointer, spinning it in 3 circles to clear the board, and then they began their session. "Is anyone there?" Jackson asked. Initially, the pointer did not move, so he repeated the question. The cup then moved down and to the left, landing on yes. Jackson asked the spirit for its name, and it replied with Susan. And when asked if she was a good or bad spirit, Susan responded that she was good. She then mentioned that she was looking for someone named Danny. None of them knew a Danny, so Susan said goodbye. Despite this, the trio decided to continue their session, eager for more supernatural experiences like that one. They cleared the board again, with 3 circles of the cup. Soon, they contacted another spirit, but this one was not as friendly as Susan. So instead of asking for its name at first, Jackson asked it if it was a good spirit. The spirit signaled no. Rather than ending the session, they continued, not feeling threatened enough to stop. Jackson then asked for its name, and it replied with John. Jackson inquired, "What do you want?" The chilling response was, "Kill." And without asking any more questions, The cup moved to no, and then flipped over abruptly. A noise from the bathroom startled them, and Jackson went to investigate. The bathroom door slammed shut behind him, and the house was filled with his screams. When Stacy and Alice managed to open the door, they found Jackson cowering in a corner, having been viciously attacked by whatever they had summoned. There's no need to purchase an official Ouija board to try contacting the dead, so G-Money Gaming and his friend decided to create their own, using a sheet of paper and a plastic pointer. They had no idea just how effective their makeshift Ouija board would be. G-Money began by asking if there were any spirits present, and they were promptly greeted with a positive response. When he inquired about the number of spirits, the board indicated there were 2, and at this point, both G-Money and his friend were sufficiently frightened, but they still decided to continue. G-Money bravely asked the spirits for their names, receiving a chilling reply: Zozo and Mama. These names are notorious among Ouija board users worldwide, often associated with malevolent entities and rumored demonic connections. The board rapidly spelled out Zozo repeatedly, and suddenly, something was knocked over deeper inside the house. Realizing the need to end the session quickly, G-Money attempted to move the pointer to goodbye. However, just as he did, the pointer jerked away as if pulled by an unseen force, and as they began to retreat from the room, the entire board just flew towards them, prompting the friends to flee in terror. On what appears to be a Japanese TV show, 3 girls are seen playing with a Ouija board. It's not surprising, given that some of the most terrifying paranormal evidence often emerges from Japanese game shows and investigation series. The spirit has warned the girls against recording their session, but it seems they have no choice in the matter. The board, or perhaps the spirit, threatens to curse them, leaving the girls visibly shaken. It doesn't take long for chaos to ensue. One girl claims to see a woman, causing the group to jump in fright, leaving 2 of the girls sprawled on the floor. In their panic, the quarter they were using as a planchette begins to move rapidly on its own. The room's furniture starts flying around as if being hurled by an unseen force, accompanied by a strange, loud clicking sound. As the footage becomes increasingly chaotic, the video abruptly ends, leaving viewers worried and yearning for more answers. This exorcism footage demonstrates that spiritual possessions are not confined to any one religion. Here, we witness a woman, believed to be possessed, trembling under the collective power of prayer, starting with a rabbi kneeling before her with a concerned expression. The rabbi observes her intently before standing up and addressing the gathered crowd. At his direction, the crowd forms a circle around the women and begins chanting softly. The volume and intensity of their chants gradually increase as the woman begins to convulse and thrash wildly. The camera then pans out to reveal that numerous rabbis have assembled for this exorcism, suggesting that they are dealing with a formidable entity. As the chanting intensifies, the woman cries out in agony. The rabbis, vigorously shaking their fists and shouting, command the demons to leave her body. Periodically, they pause to check if the demon has departed or not, only to resume their fervent chants, when they seen that it has not left. The woman, who was restrained by the group, continues to exhibit signs of severe distress. The video abruptly ends, leaving us uncertain about the exorcism's outcome. However, by the final moments, some crowd members appear to be smiling, hopefully indicating a sense of relief or hope of a successful exorcism. Is this a baby demon, or is the image simply distorted? I came across this intriguing thumbnail in a trending list video from the YouTube channel Blah Blah, popular in the Arabic speaking YouTube community. The thumbnail features a brief clip from the video. In the footage, the child appears almost demonic, with the baby monitor capturing an eerie eye shine. Unfortunately, that's all the channel provided, and I couldn't find any additional context or the original source. Does anyone know where the full version of this clip can be found? Because if you do, I'm gonna need you to share it with us in the comments or something, so we can finally address the burning question here. Was this a child or a demon? Dan Sutherland has a simple, nondescript closet in his room with an ordinary wooden door. Yet his baby girl, Lily, has recently developed a strong fascination with it. And Dan has a theory about why.
I remind you, there's a closet. She don't know what's up there. Here we go. Watch. What you'll see over there.
There's nothing particularly intriguing about the outside of the closet that should catch Lily's attention, but she often seems completely fixated on it. Inside, however, there are items that might hold some significance, though Lily shouldn't know anything about them. Lily's grandmother recently passed away, and stored inside that closet is the shirt her grandmother wore on her last day, along with a few other personal items. And strangely, Dan had moved these belongings into the closet just before Mother's Day, and ever since, Lily's interest in the closet has grown, even though she had barely noticed it before. Dan is beginning to wonder if his daughter is sensing her grandmother's presence or not. And honestly, I'm starting to think the same. If you can come up with any other explanation for why Lily would be so drawn to that otherwise ordinary closet, I'd love to hear it, because I'm at a loss, except for the possibility of her grandmother's spirit being there. Susan Payton 1 is spending a pleasant day with her family when she and her husband notice their infant suddenly become fixated on something unseen.
What am I doing?
The child's expression goes from delightful to confusion as he seems to follow something moving by. Moments later, an orb silently glides overhead. Now, what makes this even more eerie are the lyrics playing in the background at the same time. Just as the children's song says, "Say bye-bye," it seems as though something walks past the child and possibly leaves the room.
What am I doing?
Stephanie Jenkins captures a moment of her child at the bottom of the stairs when, out of nowhere, The child's expression shifts from happy to startled.
Whoa.
It's clear she spotted something, but after a few steps into the next room, she seems to forget about it. Observing viewers have pointed out what looks like an orb floating above. While some believe it could be just a speck of dust, others feel it might be a sign of a long-lost relative watching over the new generation. Is this child unintentionally causing a trail of destruction? Trending in the Vietnamese-speaking YouTube community, I found this video on the channel YouTubers. This video's origin remains elusive, and its source unknown. The security footage captures a child entering the home, just as a young man to the right prepares to leave. Everything seems normal until they cross paths. Suddenly, a concrete pedestal collapses exactly where they had been moments before. If they had been there a moment later, the outcome would have been disastrous. Thankfully, everyone appears to have been safe. While some may view this close call as mere luck or fate, there has been some speculation about the child's actions. Just before the incident, you can see the boy raises his arm as if guided by an unseen force. Could this be a sign that the child's ancestors, or just someone that knows him, intervened to protect him? That's my interpretation of this clip. So here's to hoping my own ancestors are paying attention.
Is he on the stairs? Is he standing there? Where?
That's the reaction of a YouTuber's daughter when asked to describe the man she sees on the stairs. Her mom, intrigued and concerned at the same damn time, wants to learn more about what her daughter believes she's seeing.
Where? Show Mama, where's the man?
Man stares. Her daughter responds in a small British accent. It might sound adorable if the possible paranormal implications weren't so chilling. After all, she's describing being watched by an unknown figure right in their own living room. As the video progresses, it becomes clear that the little girl is growing more fearful, avoiding looking up from her toys. So she clearly no longer wants to see the man by the stairs, though I have no idea what he looks like or what he might be doing at this time. The girl isn't smiling or showing any signs of fabricating a story either, which honestly leads me to believe this potential ghost sighting could be genuine. You guys agree? Fully Living is at home alone with her child when she hears a sudden bang from outside, followed by the power going out. Shortly after, her son Raphael begins conversing with an invisible presence, and while his mother is in another room doing the dishes, this unsettling event.
She want my fortune. She wants to go.
Upon returning to check on him, she observes that Raphael seems unusually distracted. It becomes clear that he split his attention between her and something else in the room, even though she's the only person there. What do you think? Does it seem like he's having difficulty focusing? And do you think a spirit could be involved here? Unsettling home security video has recently gone viral in the Vietnamese-speaking YouTube community. The footage shows two young girls playing energetically in the living room, while their parents are busy watching TV. I want you to pay close attention to the girl in white. video, it appears as though her right foot is suddenly yanked out from underneath her, causing her to be thrown forward by an invisible force. And what's even more curious is just moments before this happens, this really gives me the impression that these girls might have an invisible and potentially malevolent presence interacting with them. What's your take on this eerie scene? James Parr films his young nephew, who's captivated by something on the wall. The child's reaction is a mix of excitement and unease, as he occasionally steps back, almost as if he senses something nearby that's making him nervous. Despite his fascination, the wall remains empty, which makes the situation quite odd. But I'm not convinced this video is paranormal. It's possible the child is just interacting with his own shadow. What's your take on this? Carly Oaka's 2-year-old daughter refuses to enter a particular room in their house. Regardless of the time of the day, she's not going in there. She hesitates at the doorway, covering her mouth with her hand, and will not step inside even when her mother encourages her.
Wanna come in here? Okay, it's okay. Mommy will come out.
Years later, when she could express herself more clearly, she described a scary man who lived in the closet. This figure had red eyes and a face covered in red and black. Do you think this aligns with what she was seeing in the video? Or is she simply fabricating a spooky tale to scare her parents? The uploader also mentions that this wasn't the only odd event in their home. Her son talked about a boy named Marcus who would occasionally come and play with them. And all family members frequently experienced unexplained deep red scratches on their arms. Hell, they eventually moved, as would I, and the disturbances finally ceased. Was shared by the channel CO.AG, though its original source remains unidentified. At first glance, I assumed the girl sitting at the desk was the cameraman's daughter, and I thought the ghostly figure in the corner was the primary concern. But it turns out I was mistaken. According to CO.AG, the video was recorded in an abandoned house, so neither of the figures was supposed to be there. Unfortunately, the video description provides no additional information, leaving us with an eerie mystery centered around ghostly child apparitions. The lack of clarity about who or what these figures are and their purpose would have me feeling unsettled if I was there. This child is practicing peekaboo when she seemingly loses her balance and falls.
Lexi!
However, a closer look at this reveals that her feet remained firmly planted on the ground throughout the incident. It almost appears as if she falls over unnaturally, looking like she might have been pushed. The video has sparked a heated debate online on whether an invisible force caused the fall or not. Now, while it's true that children often have unsteady balance and might fall on their own, the way she stumbles back suggests to me that there could be something paranormal involved. What do you think? Was this a case of clumsiness or something more eerie? This video was supposedly taken during a family meal somewhere in Japan. A girl points behind the camera and speaks, but I'm not sure what is being said here. All I know is that in the reflection of a nearby mirror, there's a grainy outline of a tall man standing in the doorway. Look closely, and you can even see a patch of dark hair on his head, but no face at all. This is probably just scripted because the timing is too good. And also, these do kind of look like special effects to me, but I'm not so sure. Let me know if you think this child was an actor or if this was real. And if this was real, then I have no idea what happened to the poor mother and daughter in this video. Julia's Kitty's child can't seem to stop staring at the same spot on the ceiling, laughing as if something unseen is entertaining her. Despite nothing visibly being there, the child is captivated, giggling away until she suddenly falls silent and leaves the room, still looking up.
Oh, are they leaving? You're following them, huh?
She then follows something back into the room, attempting to get her parents to notice by pointing towards the ceiling as well, and returning to the same spot. She reaches up as if wanting to be lifted by whatever she sees.
Oh my gosh. It's creeping me out.
Is this the presence of a spirit? It doesn't seem to frighten the child. On the contrary, she appears intrigued and eager to get closer. What's your take on this? If it is paranormal, do you think it's a benevolent spirit? Possibly a relative? Or you guys feel it's something even more sinister, trying to earn the child's trust? This video claims to provide evidence of monsters lurking underneath the bed. Originally shared by YouTube channel Ouija, this clip has become popular in the Spanish-speaking YouTube community. Unfortunately, I could not locate the original source of the footage, but in the short video, a toddler can be seen hiding under the bed, appearing to be stuck at first. However, once she manages to claw her way out, things take a shocking turn. What is that creature? Is it human, or could it be a demon? And to me, it seems entirely otherworldly, like something strange out of a nightmare, tapping into the deepest fears of this child. This home video appears to be from the 1990s, showing a child sitting in a high chair, happily engaged in a lesson about different body parts. However, the lesson is briefly interrupted by an unusual event.
This is my elbow.
Where is...
Where's the ghost?
Ghost?
The child suddenly turns his head to track an unseen object with exaggerated movements, then mumbles something about a ghost. It's difficult to make out his exact words, but it seems like he might be saying, "There's the ghost," as if he has seen it before and was expecting it to appear again. He pauses thoughtfully before making another strange remark.
Daddy, kill him?
Yeah.
It almost sounds like he's asking if his dad has dealt with the ghost or something. The exact words are unclear, so I'd appreciate your input on what he might be saying. But after this, things return to normal for a moment. But then the child makes a confused expression, looks around, and utters something else that's completely unintelligible. Even if we knew who this child is, they likely wouldn't remember much about this incident since it happened when they were so young. All we have to go on is this intriguing snippet of a possible paranormal activity.
This is my elbow.
Where is...
Where's the ghost?
Ghost? Yeah.
In a recent exploration, real mutant Tim Merazov ventures into a desolate castle and encounters a mysterious presence within. The castle seems to greet him, and he notices a shadowy figure in a distant doorway, while strange noises echo from upstairs.
В тот момент там открылась дверь, это я увидел, но я не увидел, что было за дверьми.
Despite not getting a closer view of the so-called mutant, Tim manages to document several other eerie occurrences, including this one. Is there a force in this place that wants to see him dead? It seems likely that this mutant is the source, and strangely enough, it appears Tim embraces this encounter with an unsettling openness. Could a demonic presence be trapped within this mirror? Watch Ollie H's video closely and judge for yourself. Focus on Ollie's reflection.
Getting started now. We're gonna start. I'm gonna use this. Excited, I'm scared. A little nervous, a little scared.
It's not aligned correctly with his movements. And later, when he snaps a photo of his reflection, strange events unfold.
Whoa! Ow! Boys!
What?
The image shows a demonic hand above the mirror, followed by a camera malfunction and a fire alarm that turns off only when he commands it.
Dog!
As the situation grows increasingly eerie, Ollie begins hearing whispers.
What the f...
When he investigates the basement, he detects an unusual odor. And that night, he's disturbed by some unsettling sounds.
2:14 in the morning. I just woke up to noises coming out of the office. It sounded like...
Yo, was that a spirit that emerged from the mirror? And if so, is it now trying to take over Ollie's body? It seems like the mirror has allowed something to enter in his house. And the pressing question now is how to remove it. Never leave your webcam on while you're asleep. What you might catch could be truly unsettling. A recent viral video making waves in both Spanish-speaking in Arabic-speaking communities highlights this unsettling reality. Featured on YouTube channels Doc Tops and blah blah, the footage captures a person asleep around midnight, but what follows is chilling. The individual abruptly sits up in bed with glowing eyes and a stiff, wide-open jaw. After a brief, eerie head movement, they collapse back into their pillow and fall asleep instantly. Is this just a peculiar sleep twitch, or is something more sinister at play? And upon investigation, it turns out the original clip comes from TikToker and Twitch streamer Sun Demon. While there's no paranormal activity involved, this eerie video is sure to stick with you. In this chilling video from KBC de Fantasmas, the team explores a cluster of dilapidated and abandoned buildings. As they start their investigation, they hear a distant noise resembling a dog's bark. But they dismiss it as too insignificant. They press on, using a Kinect to capture what they interpret as a ghost child on camera.
Não se mexe, fica parado. Ele tá o Gleice.
É uma criança.
Additionally, an infrared camera records a small handprint, further adding to this mystery.
Vem cá. Mano, vem cá. Aqui. Uma mão, ó. Joe, Pedro. Tô vendo. Vem aqui.
While in the darkness, they encounter a peculiar, rattling sound with no clear source.
Pô, bateria. Acabou, mano? Que isso? Que foi isso?
And later on, an object is thrown in their direction.
Estão falando que escutaram uma criança falar aqui.
Que foi?
Isso, velho.
Pedro. Foi, Pedro. Cara, que susto.
Que foi, mano?
Passa. Foi isso, Pedro.
And one of their paranormal devices activates.
Você congelou, mano?
Não, tô parado.
Is the ghost child interacting with this ball? The area shows considerable activity on their devices, and more definitive evidence is needed to confirm this place is haunting. The handprint, though, remains the most intriguing and eerie find from their investigation. Isn't it unsettling when a ghost suddenly turns aggressive? Well, I came across this intriguing security footage, which seems to be a re-upload with no clear original source. It was featured on Haunted Horror's video channel, and it certainly left me feeling uneasy. The clip shows a young man heading towards his room, going about his business, when something disturbing occurs. The footage reveals him struggling against an unseen force, and it's evident that the shadow is overpowering him as well. He's lifted off of the ground and pulled away. If this footage isn't authentic, it's impressively staged. While investigating a haunted house, YouTuber Adonis Montage captured a shadowy figure on camera. Pay close attention to the bottom of the stairs. Did you catch it? The shadowy shape swiftly glides from right to left before vanishing into thin air. upon closer examination, it even appears to be headless. When Adonis reaches for the bottom of the stairs, he notices that the shadow figure seems to have walked into a dead end. So where did it disappear to? Although I want to believe this footage, the shadow's abrupt and unnatural movements suggest it might be edited, but there is always a chance this is an authentic representation of a shadow figure's behavior. Either way, it's an impressive piece of footage. The historic Jefferson Hotel's YouTube channel consistently posts captivating videos, and this latest one is no different. During a live stream featuring Eddie, the haunted doll, subtle movements are detected that are barely visible on camera.
Can you move Eddie's arm, please?
Eddie.
It said Eddie in a voice.
Yeah.
Eddie.
That was creepy.
And then something occurs that is impossible to miss.
In fact, 27 kilograms.
Whether Eddie is truly possessed, one of the hotel's numerous spirits is having some fun. It's definitely intriguing. Those are my interpretations of the situation. Folklore creatures are incredibly unsettling, and this YouTube clip by Romeo Candid, published in November of 2007, showcases a purported sighting of the Manananggal. This mythical being is a traditional figure in Filipino folk. Folklore, very similar to a vampire or a witch. The Manananggal is said to target young, pregnant women, particularly those who are asleep, as well as newlyweds. The legend even suggests that this creature was left at the altar, fueling its malevolent intentions. In the video, a group of people is hanging out in the dark, shining flashlights around with little to show for it, except for the surrounding darkness. And suddenly, they start screaming in terror as a ghastly female figure with black hair and greenish skin appears not far from them. The creature faces the camera as the group reacts in horror, and many viewers in the comments are understandably disturbed. And the YouTuber Andrew Gibbons provides a personal perspective on the Manananggal legend, explaining, "From what I've learned from older folks, it's an old tale meant to keep kids from wandering into the woods at night." Meanwhile, YouTuber Chow Saiso adds that some viewers claim to have heard the creature flapping its wings while inside their homes, though due to the area, it could just be a bat. But despite this, some people genuinely believe in the existence of these creatures, especially after watching this video. A group of friends is driving around late at night, likely looking to unwind and have some fun together. During their drive, one of the guys mentioned he thinks he spotted an animal, possibly a buck, moving in the bushes nearby. It seems like they're about to get out of the vehicle for a closer look, but as you'll soon see, it's probably a good thing that they didn't. Now, one of the friends described the creature as having an unusually long arm span and a strangely thin torso with long, spindly legs. The upper body appears very muscular compared to the rest of it, and its skin has a grayish hue.
Or something. Wait, stop right there. What is that? A little bug? What is that? Dude, that's what a... Wait, stop right there. What is that? A little bug? What is that? Dude, that's what a...
This whole sight is quite bizarre and unsettling. As they keep watching, the creature, which bears an eerie resemblance to the urban legend known as the Rake, makes an appearance. The comments are buzzing with confusion about the source of this video, as the paranormal news channel is Russian owned. But the people in the footage are clearly American. Regardless of the origin, this unsettling figure is one you wouldn't want to encounter, especially not in the dead of night. Even if it turns out to be a hoax, this is sure to give anyone a scare. Michael JP86 is exploring a cemetery late at night, hoping to capture some eerie phenomena. During his recording, a strange light appears in the distance.
That car stopped over there.
Initially, he thinks it might be the headlights of a passing car, but when no vehicles pass by, he realizes with growing alarm that this light is emanating from within the cemetery itself. The light forms a rectangular shape that looks like a doorway made entirely of luminescence. And when you review the footage in slow motion, you can spot a small figure darting in the glowing doorway just before the light disappears. If this isn't a case of the paranormal, and I'd be interested in hearing your thoughts on what might have caused this mysterious light and what the shadowy figure could be. The YouTube channel Proving Demons is back with another chilling video that aims to confirm the presence of demons. In this latest clip, Andrew reveals the reason for their nighttime investigation.
Listening to music in the kitchen, and all the lights in the house just turned off except in the room we were in. And trust us, we're freaked out of the house, and we had all the lights on.
They start by testing all the lights, finding that some are functional while others are not. Then they hear an unsettling noise and decide to use the Connect to detect any supernatural entities.
On anymore. Space. What was that noise? What? It's picking up on something right there. Arms, legs, everything. Hello?
Through the spirit box, the demon communicates its intentions directly, though it doesn't startle them with a jump scare.
Oh, God.
It certainly makes its presence felt from the erratic light flickering.
I gotta try and get some more answers. That is so. What was that? Did you just hear that clump?
I thought it was you moving.
I'm not moving.
To the Connect's eerie readings and disturbing sounds, it's clear that something malevolent is lurking in the house. Yo, and the message from the demon, them out. Well, it wants them out.
What? It's picking up on something right there. Arms, legs, everything. Hello?